Did you know? Long before Super Mario 3D World, Nintendo had a prototype for a 3D co-op Super Mario game. In 2009, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto described this prototype in an interview with Wired.com. With Mario 64, we had an experiment that took advantage of the idea of the screen growing larger and smaller depending on how far apart the characters were. So we had Mario and Luigi running around in that 3D world. Ultimately, the idea was scrapped because of hardware restrictions. Miyamoto has stated that hardware limitations are some of the most impactful and imperative factors when developing Mario games. An example of restrictions that influence development comes from Mario Kart 64. The available processing power of the Nintendo 64 dictated the pace of the game, and even helped determine the mechanics of the blue shell item. According to Mario Kart 64's director, Hideki Kono, the blue shell was created to help balance the race by targeting the player in the lead. However, the Nintendo 64's hardware had trouble processing all 8 racers on the screen at once, so when the trailing flood of racers passed the player who was recovering from a blue shell, it would cause lag or stuttering. To help prevent this from happening, the blue shell was made to knock out every other racer in its path. This would scatter the racers near the target and prevent them from entering the screen at once. In Double Dash, this processing limitation didn't exist, so the blue shell was given wings and was made to only target the racer in first place. Memory limitations also shaped the development of the Goomba enemies from Super Mario Bros. Even as far into development as the playtesting stage, Koopa Troopas were the game's main enemy. They existed in the same spaces as Goombas in the final version, but playtesters found the turtles to be tricky to beat. They were especially challenging for inexperienced gamers playing from the start of the game. Near the end of development, it was decided to create a new enemy that could be taken out with a single stomp. This proved to be a challenge though, because the game was quickly using up all available memory. In order to save space, the Goomba sprites were made to be small and only use a single image that flips back and forth as a walking animation. Technical limitations also forced Nintendo to cut entire ideas or reserve them for later use. After Super Mario Bros., Nintendo wanted to give Mario a mountable dinosaur sidekick. But in Miyamoto's own words, it was impossible technically, so Yoshi had to wait until Super Mario World to make its first appearance. Some fans have raised questions about Miyamoto's claim that the NES wasn't capable of gameplay with Yoshi. The main reason being that the 1993 education game Mario is Missing featured exactly that: gameplay with Yoshi on the NES. However, it should be noted that not only is Mario is Missing a much more simple game than a mainline Mario title, but it also came along near the end of the NES's life cycle, meaning developers had plenty of time to learn how to maximize the console's performance. On the subject of non-Nintendo developed Mario games, there was once going to be another Mario title for the Philips CDI, and not just the unreleased Mario's Wacky Worlds. The lesser-known second unreleased Mario game was called Mario Takes America. According to an article from Philips CDI World magazine, the game combined interactive gameplay, full-motion video, and a story centering around Mario traveling to various locations within the United States. In July of 2014, a former developer of Mario Takes America reached out to assemblergames.com and unseen64.net, revealing new details about this canceled game. He worked for Canadian developer Sigum Entertainment, who was commissioned by Philips to create the game. Sigum Entertainment sent a crew all over the US to take photos and videos of landscapes. They even used a helicopter to shoot some of the sequences. However, after the other CDI games featuring Nintendo characters failed, Philips cut the funding for Mario Takes America and left Sigum in a tough situation. The failed project bankrupted the company. The assets for the game were repossessed by the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, and these assets are likely still hidden deep within the bank's archives. Another cancelled Mario game was a project by Next Level Games, the developer of the Mario Striker series. This scrapped project started as a simple sports title called Mario Volleyball, but as the development staff grew and more ideas were pitched for the game, it became Super Mario Spikers, and it incorporated elements of wrestling and game shows. An anonymous contributor close to the project explained to Unseen64.net that the wrestling elements were introduced because of another cancelled Next Level Games project, project, which was both a sci-fi and American pro wrestling licensed game called WWE Titans: Parts Unknown. When Super Mario Spikers was pitched to Nintendo, they reportedly turned the project down because the more violent aspects of the game clashed with the company's code of honor. This seems ironic, considering one of the most lucrative Nintendo franchises involves their characters beating each other senseless. By examining a series of the game's animations, however, it's easy to see that the violence from Super Mario Spikers was much more realistic than the slapstick violence of Super Smash Bros., and this could be the reason Nintendo objected. There is another canceled game that's made an impact on the Mario series, but this time it's not a canceled Mario game, it's a canceled Zelda game. The Wii U title Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was actually planned to star Link. Captain Toad's director, Shinya Hiratake, pitched a game set in a small diorama-like world. Hiratake felt that a puzzle platforming game that forgoes the jump ability would allow levels to be much more compact. He didn't think Mario characters were a good fit for this idea, as jumping was a focal point of the series. A small tech demo, starring Link, was put together to show the higher-ups at Nintendo. Shigeru Miyamoto's initial reaction was confusion, as he thought Hiratake's team were pitching actual physical diorama toys with Zelda characters. Once it was made clear that the project was a video game, management shot down the idea. However, Miyamoto thought the project had potential, and it was incorporated into Super Mario 3D World as a minigame. Captain Toad, who originally debuted in Super Mario Galaxy, was chosen as the playable character for these sequences because Hiratake figured Captain Toad's heavy backpack could be the logical reason the character couldn't jump. After the release of 3D World, Miyamoto encouraged Hiratake's team to take the Captain Toad levels and expand them into a full game. Hiratake said, "We'd like to think that Mr. Miyamoto finally realized the vision we had for a diorama those many years ago." Well, that's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to Did You Know Gaming and follow Did You Know Gaming on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you also check out didyouknowgaming.com, and if you like this video, check out our other videos. If you want to learn more about Mario and the great challenges Nintendo faced bringing our beloved Mario series from 2D to 3D, I analyze and compare the Mario series to the Mega Man series, highlighting Super Mario 64 versus Mega Man X in a detailed case study on my channel, Satchbag's Goods. Check it out. I promise it'll be fun, informative, and worth your while. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Satchel Like a Bag Drakes. This has been Did You Know Gaming? Copacetic.